Good morning. It is me, Pearl, and this is Tuned in Tarot. And we're about to take a look at the balance between the divine masculine and the divine feminine energies. Understanding that whatever state we find these energies in, we can expect to see reflected back to us in our interactions with the people in our environment. And if we want to see changes and shifts in how we are experiencing relationships, career, having the things that we want, we really do need to shift the energy inside of ourselves. So when we're applying this to a specific person and blaming them for why our interactions are such, we really need to understand that the energy is not about the specific person, it's about you and the specific person you are thinking about. You are just seeing them as a reflection of your energy. Okay. Divine Masculine is going to go first today because while they both had the same number of cards showing, oh my Lanta, Divine Masculine is really overthinking, so he had more cards showing by that. Okay, all right. Let's get started. Top of the deck. Overall headspace, forefront of the mind for this Divine Masculine is the Three of Wands. And it's upright. So we're seeing patience and a confidence about these pieces falling into place because divine masculine at some point has really made a very strong spiritual connection with the divine and started to draw from the divine and receive inspiration, reassurance, confidence, and it's helping him to navigate this next phase whereby he will start to hopefully see this ground and come into union. We've been seeing all these pentacles in the crazy reading I had yesterday with Grace Striga. There was like so many pentacles. So we're just seeing grounding happening for sure. And starting to see him trust, which for this divine masculine is a big step because trust issues abound here. And he really is just having this patience that he's put the pieces into place and his ship is about to come in. And the niggling thing in the back of his mind, I love, is the Knight of Swords or Prince of Swords as is seen in the Cosmic Tarot deck. And this knight is a knight that moves swiftly, follows a strategy, brings truth, clarity, and speaks directly. And the niggling thing is, so I feel this swift motion. So I think some of this patience has to do with the fact that in the back of his mind, he actually feels that this is the energy here is moving swiftly. So it's easier to be patient when things are starting to like get going, get moving. So that's helping with the patience, but also this is intention, right? His intention is now that these pieces are falling into place, he is like, it's time for me now to bring this truth, clarity, directness to my divine feminine, which is also right to myself. So finally reveal these truths that I've been learning and integrate them so divine feminine can have an understanding of my experience and I can have an understanding of hers, right? And that's what's going on in yourself as you're exploring and figuring out, why do I prevent myself from having this? Why do I say I want this and then I do this? Like, why? And there's that, and you just like want to know, but you don't really. This is where you're looking at the parts of yourself that are responding to you, where you're saying, why don't I do this? And the divine masculine side of yourself is like, because we have a deep inner child wound that has never been healed, that because of these beliefs we have. And then the divine feminine side is like, oh, I must nurture this terrified child inside of myself and deal with that inner wound. And then I can mature and be able to receive what it is that I'm asking for. That's what we do here. And so when I read it, it does seem like it's about somebody, because it is, but only because it's about you. So the divine masculine side of self, ready to bring the truth and directness and clarity to the reasons for delay, the reasons for why this manifestation, this physical union with this desired outcome has not been able to be achieved. The first thing on Divine Masculine's mind is the Six of Swords. The reversal here is interesting. I definitely think that this is because when I look at the rest of this headspace, which I gotta tell you is, c'est magnifique. Beautiful. This is like the one little fear. And in this particular imagery of the Six of Swords, it's really unique. Every other version of this card has like boat, water, this OG Smith Waite has all the swords on the front of the boat. There's a divine masculine ferrying a divine feminine and an inner child to sanctuary, and they're not necessarily certain where they're going to go. Good morning, Emily. I see you there. So it's very possible that this divine masculine right now, because we're seeing the imagery reversed on this, we're seeing this solo individual who's balancing all on their own. And it's about, the card itself is about using the struggle, strife, the lessons learned, because we've got that air energy from the sword. So we've got intellect there, observation and analysis, but also strife, struggle. And so it's about using all of that to be able to see how where you've been has been this bridge to where you need to go. And that perspective is giving our past meaning, like that, the things that have happened to us that have delayed us or whatever, going within and understanding that those things have value. That is what helps us to release shame, harsh self-criticism, etc., being able to embrace that truth. And I think Divine Masculine has a hard time with it. He gets it on the surface level because the card is here, but there's a deeper, there's a dissatisfaction with how he has handled things. And so he is feeling a little bit like it's on him to shift this energy between them, because it was on him and his fear about not knowing where he was going or not knowing what he was doing that really caused the problems. So he's having a hard time kind of really coming to this belief that his inability to do something, or the things that he did do, or insert here, really function to help and heal and push them to where they need to go. Part of him thinks no, I just stalled the boat and we could have been here a long time ago if it weren't for me, and how I wasn't able to do this on my own and take care of what I needed to take care of. So he's working. This is bothering him because it's the first thing on his mind. He's also ready to go. He's ready to go to this new place, but he's also afraid about where he's going. And let's see where he's going. The Lovers. Our theme, the playlist we just completed for January, the start of the year. Starting in this place where we're considering union, coming together, physical manifestation, connection. For him, it has always been about this. This divine masculine, it's funny because the choices that he's made, which have led him away from sanctuary, kept him from taking off towards that new shore, they've always been about this. Because while to divine feminine, it seems like that he's never been prioritizing this, in reality, all he's done has been to protect this. This divine, precious love that he's really had. It's all been about this. It's all been for this. I have a very strong feeling of that from this card. And this is what he wants to head towards now. And look at how he feels about it. King of Pentacles upright again. This is a fucking amazing headspace right now. This is a good headspace. King of Pentacles. Worthy. In his worth. Foundation established. Feeling the ability to provide and protect. Understanding that provide does not mean material necessarily, although capable of this in this energy. Understanding that provide means something else. Provide means this. Protect means this. Protect the connection. Provide for the connection, which is not about money or houses or whatever, cars, whatever. So he's in his worth, and there's a healthy feeling from this card. It does not have a feeling to me of there's not shadow, especially when we're looking at the cards around it, because the King of Pentacles builds a foundation. That foundation is the foundation that the Emperor relies on, which is how Divine Masculine feels today in his headspace. So he feels a little more clarity here with the Six of Swords in reverse. He feels in his power that he's able to control the situation right now, that he is, because we saw that patience, that Three of Wands, that because he knows he's ready to bring in revelation and truth and new ideas with that Knight of Swords energy, he feels really capable at the moment. But this is the thing that we're seeing for that Six of Swords, where he's feeling like it was his fault that this was delayed, that being able to go where they needed to go was delayed because of his fears and his anxiety. And because of that, he became very rigid and very controlling and caused quite a lot of pain, right? So there's that also going on. But we're seeing the end of separation, and we keep seeing the end of separation. The 10 of Swords has been here over and over again, the end of painful separation. And he feels capable now of achieving that. This is what has happened, right? There's been a really painful ending. There's been feelings of betrayal, all kinds of stuff. Hi, thank you for joining us. And then we have clarifying this King of Pentacles. Overthinking. But I like it. This is interesting. King of Pentacles clarified by the Four of Pentacles. He feels a solid foundation. But we also have here that there is an understanding that part of the pain, part of the painful separation came from this, right? Holding on and focusing on the material and worrying and being concerned about external validation, because this is like a doctor here giving advice. So yes, he has caused painful ending by grasping too much, holding on too tightly to, of course, the Lovers, which is above and to the left here of this king. And so if we saw that, we'd be like, okay, well, that's old ass energy, but it's not old ass energy, because we have this Seven of Pentacles clarifying this overthinking, and it's in its reversal. So we've got the seeds that have been planted are bearing fruit. The seeds that were planted, and look at all the grounding, coming into 3D for sure. The seeds that were planted during this ego grab for the material things that he desired. And it caused him to become very impatient, because and remember, we're looking at impatience with himself. He's impatient with himself for having been so focused on this material wealth. And yet, understanding, there's our Two of Cups and our Lovers. Understanding that it was having to wait for these things, these seeds to grow. And actually, that this isn't necessarily about like, oh, now he has a big chunk of money and he can do what he wants. It's not even about that. It's that he had to figure out that the seeds of the wealth that were planted were actually the knowledge that the worthiness had nothing to do with external validation. And that it's this union coming together in the self and wanting to be in the physical union with this lover that taught him this whole lesson. So he's really working that out, but he's feeling very confident right now in terms of in terms of his masculine worth energy. And if anything, we're just seeing regret about timeline, about how long that process took for him. Okay. Top of the deck, heart space for divine masculine is the 3 of Swords in reverse. So we are seeing him release the effects of heartbreak and pain. There's also a potential the effects of third-party energy on this union are passing away, or no longer have a hold over his heart space. And I think there's a we have regret. We just got a little tinge of regret coming in this reading. And so I think it's just releasing that regret in regards to the pain that was inflicted and the betrayal. There's something about betrayal going on here too. The niggling feeling in the heart space is this death card. And so there's this emphasis here that what has happened to cause this ending is now passing away. And we're entering into a time of rebirth. There is some resistance to the rebirth, and the resistance could potentially be coming from a third-party block. But remember that all third-party energy is really a manifestation that is accommodating a limiting fear or belief we have about ourselves. So if I'm saying like, oh, there's a third party that's preventing the connection, and then you're like, that karmic partner, whatever, is a bitch, whatever. That's really not at all what I'm talking about. That karmic partner that you might have thought about is not a bitch, actually. That karmic partner is doing exactly what you've asked from the divine, and they were a match to your need. And so the divine just bloop matched y'all together, all 3 of y'all, if there's third party involved. And remember, that could be a family member, it can be a job, it can be a belief system from childhood that makes the person make certain choices, whatever. It's not necessarily a person, but what it truly is this energy that matches the block that you have about receiving or giving. So this third party energy, blockage, whatever, it could be lingering a little bit and causing just a little bit of a delay. But I really see the passing of this. It's not so much that this is an energy that's preventing. There's just a little bit of resistance there. It's hard. It's difficult. Also, there's been heartbreak and pain that has been being healed too. This divine masculine and divine feminine have made a lot of sacrifices to be able to be together. And that pain is there from those choices that they have made too. So that's also there in the card. Then we're going to get a whole bunch of union today, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but it looks like it. So here's the first one that I can see, obviously on divine feminine side, but the Fool, the new beginning. And this is what divine masculine is afraid of. That's why the 6 of Swords is in reverse, because his head is afraid of the new beginning. He's afraid. He's never done this before. He's never done it before, and he's afraid. He's also feeling that he has been foolish. Here's the Lovers, clarified by the 10 of Cups, and it's in reverse. And this is what he's been foolish about, because he focused on the material instead of on this connection. He feels he delayed his spiritual fulfillment. And the new beginning that he is longing for is to be able to have this new beginning with this divine feminine together and to achieve their spiritual fulfillment. He is not accepting defeat. We have the King of Pentacles clarified by the Five of Swords. Now, this card is interesting too, because we see in this Five of Swords, there's these people fighting, and then there's this individual, and they're like, you know, I give up. I'm not going to keep fighting. And I'm going to follow this butterfly. Like, this caught my attention, and I'm going to like just walk away from this battle. No, I'm not going to fight anymore. And instead focus on my transformation, because I've been in like this energy where I've constantly been battling and battling and battling. And I think if I transform, I'm not going to be coming up against this blockage anymore. So there's that element here in the card as well. And this is kind of what Divine Feminine has done. Divine Feminine was like, what the fuck? I'm not going to fight with this Divine Masculine anymore, chasing him, trying to get him to see me, notice me, hear me. And then him being like, no, I do see you, notice you, hear you, but I can't come yet because like, you know, there's reasons why, but I can't really tell you because I can't really talk to you about it because I can't express to you. So like, but just, you know, hang in there. And she's like, no, I'm going to go. I'm totally defeated, and I'm going to go after what it is that has caught my attention, which could have been another individual if there is third party energy, or it could just be herself, that she wants to go transform herself because she doesn't want to be stuck in this energy of this Divine Masculine anymore, right? Divine Masculine is not accepting Divine Feminine walking away. He's loving that she's gone to her transformation. It's not that he's resenting that at all. He's just like, yeah, I'm not done fighting for the connection though. I know that you might have stepped off to the side and like, you're going to do your thing and be open to anyone, but like, I know what I want and I'm going to fight for it. Because I was a fool that didn't prioritize it, right? That's the heart space. Oh my God, the next card. Holy shit. Now we have the Tower, okay. But wow, fuck. The Tower, that's clarifying the Emperor. So that's major, major energy. This is a major change, a major shift. And I really feel that we're seeing him. There's also this house here, right? There's a house here that is about to teeter, about to crumble, about to fall down. Because when this lightning strikes, it's hard to see because these cards are kind of dark, but there's like a tree branch here that's like extending off of this cliff. And when the lightning strikes, that we know is inherent in the Tower card, this very, very precarious cliff here will likely fall right into the sea, and the safety in this home is kaput. So Divine Masculine is fighting. He's fighting to change. He's fighting to tear down this structure and rebuild something new that's not on this destabilized foundation. And he knows that that what he has to tear down is the rigidity and the controlling behavior that is in this energy of the Emperor. And then we have the Ten of Swords, clarifying the Ten of Swords. So like, what the hell? Same position, in head and heart, union, the end of painful separation. And in this card, we've got this gigantic bird of some kind that's basically picked up this individual, and they are teetering helplessly here. But right here, if this bird keeps flying right here, we have them safe again. So it's like what this couple has endured, the painful ending, everything that has happened. We're at that 10 energy. We're at that completion of that cycle. And then the overthinking in this masculine side of self, where we have holding on to the material, understanding that the seeds that have been planted really were about this union and not really about that physical material experience, but more about the spiritual connection that needed to be made inside of self, which then translates into the physical. And being a little bit impatient with self at the delay that was caused by this grasping energy from that Four of Pentacles. We have the Eight of Cups, which when we look at it in the same row with not accepting defeat, we have being unwilling to walk away from this union. This is a divine masculine that's like, no, I fought to feel my masculine worth energy. I fought to make this for us. I fought to have this between us, and I will not walk away from this. I will not walk away. And in that process, there are aspects of self, because when you don't walk away from what doesn't serve you, there's success in the cups too. So there are aspects that in that resistance to not walking away, he is still kind of in this clinging, grasping energy, but he has this awareness of it. Okay, divine feminine. Wow. Holy. I can't. Okay. Top of the deck, overall headspace for the divine feminine energy of self is the Queen of Wands in reverse. She is really trying to control her reactivity at the moment. She might be experiencing bouts of anger or passion, sexual energy. Doesn't necessarily have to be anger, although it can be. There can just be, it's just, she's so much in her passion for this divine masculine energy, and she's so much in her passion for her desires, for what it is that she wants to accomplish, that she's kind of getting a little bit out of sorts. Like, she's not having a lot of control over her reactivity and a lot of control over her mind. She's really flowing with energy, but maybe like a little bit too much, and needs to kind of be more in command of her actions, the actions that she's engaging in at the moment. But she is a queen, and she's very powerful. She's very much in that energy. She also might be having trouble holding a vision, because we're at this place now where she is trying to create a new idea, new vision. And so it might be difficult for her to really be able to even imagine what this new vision will feel like. In the back of her mind, and this is too why I'm feeling like that Queen of Wands energy, where in the shadow, where you're just so much in your passion and whatever energy that's kind of like taking over, she's not really doing her work so much at the moment. This is the Three of Pentacles in reverse. There's a couple different meanings here. It came up yesterday in the reading with Grace Strega, and I think the same meanings still apply to it, which is a resistance to solo work. In that respect, the divine masculine side of self was experiencing that, not wanting to work alone anymore. And I think I see here with divine feminine the same feeling. She is we can taste the union here. Like it's like right there. We can smell it. It's right here. And she wants to be able to work with the divine masculine and collaborate with him. And she's resisting doing solo work at the moment. On herself, on her job. She's like, I can't think of anything else. I can't do anything else. And divine masculine is actually feeling a little bit satisfied about that, because he's been feeling that way for a minute now. And she's, he's been like trying to focus on his work, we see in the material, and, unable to, because his heart space is like all caught up in it. So we see divine feminine now in that same feeling of like, I don't want to work alone anymore. I just want to work with this divine masculine. Like, then I can work on the stuff I need to work on, because I can stop having all of this energy go into this vision that I don't even know what it's going to look like, and blah, 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 right? There's a lot in there. And that union I spoke about in the same placement, which is incredible. The first thing on her mind is this new beginning. And it's the first thing in divine masculine's heart. And what do we know about how I analyze this energy, right? I analyze a I analyze the polarity within because there is a law of polarity. In that law of polarity, I'm talking about energy, not gender. We've got a masculine headspace, like drawing on the intellect, analytical, left brain type of deal. And then we have the divine feminine, intuitive side that is giving, receiving, like there's that nurturing aspect, all the light and shadow of the divine feminine, all the light and shadow of the divine masculine in the heart space for divine feminine and the head space for divine masculine. Then I look at that energy for both. So if you are appearing here as somebody who is gender fluid, you might always feel both energies. I do. You might feel strongly into one energy and not so much into another. And it kind of takes you a while to figure out how that energy is really part of you, but it is a part of you. And then within that, there is the head and the heart space, but always head and heart is masculine, feminine energy. Masculine headspace energy, but in his heart. Divine feminine, masculine headspace energy, but she's heart space. So it's complete union. And the union is this new beginning. The union is also that they feel foolish because they're fools in love, you know? The fools rush in kind of a feeling. And they're both really craving this. So that's the first thing on her mind. The second thing on her mind is Page of Swords in reverse. Now it's Divine Feminine's turn to be like working up the bravery, working up the courage and bravery to really, really embrace a new idea about herself. This is a difficult thing to do because she's had a specific manifestation in mind for quite a while. And she has had a certain iteration of how that specific manifestation would appear and interact. And she's realizing in the process, as she's learning how to become fully in her power, she's realizing that she has little control, actually, over that manifestation, and has had to work up the courage to really see clearly that what it is that she expects is not necessarily she's going to get what she expects, but it's the essence of it, not the specific iteration. And she's working up the courage to embrace this new beginning that's coming, because there is this new thing that's happening that's never happened to her before. And then we have another union, the Three of Swords in reverse. So healing these wounds that are shared wounds. And there we go again with the union. Same position, not same position in the spread, but reversed, both reversed, and heart space and head space. So full union here. Divine Masculine feels the same kind of energy that Divine Feminine is thinking about. They're very in tune and they're telepathic. He can feel what she thinks. She can think about what he's feeling. She feels that there is healing going on, that there is this passing away of third-party blockages and energy, that they are pulling, because when we turn this over, those swords fall out of the heart, right? And then there's these wounds left that we need to heal. So she's experiencing that right now. And schmutz on my card, not okay. She also is feeling a need to hear forgiveness coming from Divine Masculine. She feels also that she wants to experience forgiveness. And the same thing that she's trying to get up enough courage to be able to embrace this new beginning and, you know, allow this past energy, these past wounds to pass away. The same, she's also feeling that this is what Divine Masculine is doing, that he is gearing up to come in and make amends for this heartbreak, and so that they can heal together. because now it's time for them to heal together, because they have worked on their individual healing and now it's time to come into that union and heal together. And the next thing on her mind is the Hermit in reverse, because the new beginning is that she will no longer be alone, right? The Hermit energy is you're on your own, you're isolated, you're going within, you're soul searching, you're using the light from that star energy to lead you and guide you and help you to see exactly where it is that you need to make these changes. But this is her feeling that this new beginning is she's not going to be alone anymore. And she is not in lack mentality, being left out in the cold, because this 5 of Pentacles energy, bye-bye, bye-bye, no more. A thing of the past, not left out in the cold anymore. This Hermit is in the snow, right? Coming out of the cold, no longer being left behind. And this 5 of Pentacles in reverse is clarifying. So this is the new idea that she's trying to be brave enough to work up the courage to embrace that she isn't in lack, that she actually has an abundance of love, an abundance of security, an abundance of attention. The things she was seeking outside of herself and this other person, there is this realization that has happened from going within that it is really always available to her. And that the new idea is that this old idea no longer applies to her. She can give herself anything she needs. And then we have the 10 of Swords. And this 10 of Swords is in its reversal. And for me, the 10 of Swords upright or in reverse has the same meaning. It is about the end of painful separation. And it is just emphasized when we're seeing it in its reverse. Like the effects, like when it's upright, we're seeing that the end of painful separation is desired, right? It's here, it's present. And when we're seeing it in its reversal, we're seeing the end of separation is here and it was long overdue. And its delay was from the healing of these wounds in the heart space. So look at this. This theme of betrayal here, third party energy, 10 of Swords, stabbed in the back, right? Betrayal. There's some theme of betrayal here, and forgiveness, needing forgiveness. That's wanting forgiveness, giving forgiveness. All right, Divine Feminine. Top of the deck, overall heart space for Divine Feminine energy is the Page of Cups. So we've got a feeling here of innocence, purity, really just like true heart-centered love, youthfulness and awkwardness. Now, yesterday she was feeling like she did not want to be in this energy anymore. She wanted to be mature. But this isn't about maturity so much when we're seeing this heart space, as more that it's just about this feeling of true love. And because we're at this new beginning energy with the Fool, it's like that puppy love, right? That new exciting way you feel when you first catch that spark for someone. And now she's experiencing that energy coming from this divine masculine energy and feeling it herself. And then we've got another union. We've got the 10 of Cups is the niggling feeling in her heart space. And this Divine Feminine has not let go of this card. She is holding on tight to this card, and I'm proud of her. And there's that mirror with Divine Masculine heart space. He's healing because he feels like he prevented them from having this, and he's having to understand that 6 of Swords. He didn't prevent it, right? It was the growth and expansion that was required in order for them to have what it is that they desire. Wow, fuck. The Wheel of Fortune. Clarifying the Fool. Major energy. We have the Tower clarifying the Emperor. Now we've got the Wheel of Fortune clarifying the Fool. This is major energy. It's the first thing in her head and first thing in her heart space. The new beginning. It's freaking time. It's destined. This massive change, this massive shift, she's leaping right into it. I'm just closing her eyes and going. She's taking that leap. She's working up that courage though, right? To look inside, to embrace these new ideas about herself. Oh my God. It's finally happened. I wondered if it would ever happen to me, and it happened today, but give me a minute to do this card and then you'll see what the fuck I'm talking about. Okay. So she's working up enough courage to face off this devil energy, to embrace this new idea that she can give herself what she needs, that the obsession and infatuation and fixation and codependency was based on the fact that she couldn't really see, or she wasn't brave enough to face the fact that she was seeking someone else to give her those things because she didn't want to give them to herself because she didn't feel like she deserved them. And it is very difficult to force someone else to give you something you feel you don't deserve. And so that's what she's working up the courage to face off, the energy within her that makes her feel codependent, makes her feel addicted or infatuated with this divine masculine. She's really trying to work on that. She's understanding that energy, that devilish energy, that sexual energy, that being so at the mercy of her passions has really prevented her from acting in a new way. And it has caused that painful ending. 4 decks. 4 out of 4 decks. 1, 2, 3, 4 of my decks coughed up the 10 of Swords today. Fuck. The end of painful separation is here 4 times. For divine masculine, it was upright because he's ready to bring this end to this painful separation. For divine feminine, we had her feeling like this is overdue in her headspace. Like, yeah, it's time for this to end. And then we have in her heart space, the end of painful separation is here, clarifying this 3 of Swords in reverse. This third party energy that was causing this pain, right? These blockages that they were both putting up because of the wounds that had been inflicted in their hearts was causing them to betray themselves and betray each other. That is over. What she learned when she went inside and searched for the reasons why she was seeing these delays, seeing this devil energy recurring. This was why. Because her Ace of Cups had been depleted. Because she is understanding that as she gives and gives and gives and gives, she was doing that expecting to receive. And when you do something expecting to receive, you are not acting out of love. You are giving and giving and giving and giving because you feel that you have to in order to be worthy of love. When you feel worthy of love, you give spontaneously and intuitively because you're led to by the divine, right? So she's learned this lesson. This is what she's learned. And that she must fill her own cup. And this is the big change, the big shift for her, that she's never going to seek it outside of herself from that divine masculine. And if she does, she knows that that is devil energy for her. And she will be like, nope, I'm trying to get validation from you. I'm trying to get attention from you. I'm trying to get security from you. And I must provide those things to myself. And so if I'm acting in a certain type of way to you, it's because of my own fears about my inability to give myself what I need. That lesson is going to ensure that she is going to have extraordinarily spiritually fulfilling relationships, manifestations of all kinds. She's coming outside. She's going to hear what's been going on inside, right? She's going to finally be in Divine Masculine's world. We see it. Because here's the moon with those truths that are going to be revealed. And I just saw 44 on my timer. Those secrets, those hidden meanings, those things that have kept them from understanding exactly what is going on between them and why they can't quite get this thing to work. Those secrets are being revealed. We're coming out of the shadow. We're coming out of the dream space. We're coming out of the cold. What has been hidden will be revealed. This painful ending, this betrayal, her heart space is showing her exactly why it took so long, right? Because this is long overdue. Because she was protecting herself from the new beginning. Her resistance to the separation is self-sabotaging. If she embraces the separation, if she embraces the ending, she can have the new beginning. If she resists the separation, she will remain in this protected fortress, protecting her heart from those wounds, which might be appropriate if she's still needing healing. And she's understanding and feeling the truth of this. Wow. I have never had 4 decks. Ever. I get 3 decks. Sometimes I get 3 decks give me 2 cards 3 times, and I'm like, that's crazy. But I have never had all 4 decks give me all 4 of 1 card. So, wow. All right. Divine couple, let's look at your oracles and see what final advice I can give you to help you navigate the energy and the separation. Divine Masculine, you are in the light attributes right now. You're continuing. This was here yesterday for the couple, and it's on your side right now. You're in the light attributes of the poet. You are no longer turning a lyric gift to negative or destructive effect. And you are expressing soul insights in symbolic language. So you are excelling at that energy that came out for the both of you yesterday. I sensed from your side, particularly with the 3 of Swords in its reverse and the Death card in its reverse, that there is some lingering forgiveness that needs to occur with yourself, because I see that self-critical feeling about, not really embracing that this has been divine and sort of feeling like, nah, it was my fault. So kind of forgiving yourself because it really wasn't your fault. Like, it's maybe even narcissistic to think things are our fault. Like, we are part of a bigger plan. So let's let that energy go collectively. There's one thing to take responsibility and say it was my fault for specific actions, but you can't say that your actions caused everything to happen because of what you did. Your actions were perfectly matched to whatever blockage the other person had. And so you have to forgive yourself. You have to ask for forgiveness for having done something that did cause pain or suffering. And you must forgive yourself. And I also think that you need to give forgiveness to Divine Feminine, because in the same way that you are holding yourself accountable, then you must, by that same rationale, also be holding Divine Feminine responsible. So there's a need here for forgiveness for her. So Saint Mary Magdalene is here to support you in that energy and exploring forgiveness. You might do a forgiveness meditation, something to help you go within and see what it is that you need to forgive. To receive what I want, I must not push against unwanted. This is an expanding universe, and all things must be allowed. In other words, for you to understand and experience what you desire, you must understand that which you do not desire. For in order to be able to choose and focus, both must be present and understood. This and that, right? Weird. I don't understand. Okay, I guess a card fell. So this is incredible to me. To receive what I want, I must not push against unwanted, right? Here we go. So that first thought in your mind, that reluctance to believe that what you did actually was part of this divine experience and that you weren't just, like wasting time or causing unnecessary pain or something, whatever self-criticism is coming from this idea that you kind of were responsible because of your fears about not knowing where you were going. This is an energy that you don't want, right? You're pushing against it. In order for you to know where you wanted to go, you needed to know where you didn't want to be. And the ways of discovering that information, it's just be neutral about it. Don't be like, oh, there's bad ways and there's good ways. There's really not. There's bad and good reactions to the ways that you've done things. And even that bad and good reaction, it's just about how long it takes for you to heal. It's really not that serious. I don't know how to express that any differently. You're very close to achieving your goal, Divine Masculine. You really are. You really, really are. I think you know that. The energy is gaining momentum. You got a butt ton of Moonology cards today, babes. The energy is gaining momentum. Have faith in your dreams. This is back again, Divine Masculine. Please have faith. Have faith in your dreams. And then again, show the world the real you. Why are you so scared? I show the world the real me every day, and it's all kinds of things. It's good, it's weird, it's funny, it's whatever. It's everything. It's not perfect. It doesn't do things perfectly, it doesn't say things perfectly. Show the world the real you. Pillar of light. Your vibration is rising. You are the oracle. So you need to start trusting in your own ability to see what you need to be and do. Like there's a certain amount of relying on outside intuition to validate your intuition, and you have to understand that you really are the oracle, that you are capable of feeling these messages within yourself. And then you need to establish better boundaries. You've got grasping individuals around you. I always, with these hands, people asking for things, expecting things, there's definitely an energy of that. And then we're getting a new card from the Colette Baron Reed deck, the Spirit Animal Oracle today. We're getting Snake Spirit, time to heal. And we're getting the protection message of this. And there was definitely a lot of wounding going on in the reading today. So no matter how much you may have lost or how you may have been disappointed, you are called by Snake Spirit to shed the past and practice radical self-acceptance now. Wow. Okay. I can't even read the next part. Oh my God. Because the next line of this card says, only by forgiving yourself can you move on. Holy shit. Regardless of whether anyone else is ready for healing. When your tender new skin first becomes exposed, and that is how I feel about the Divine Masculine. Yesterday, the King of Cups in reverse came out. Like now he's ready to express all of this emotion. And I felt like it's that new skin, like tender, very sensitive after you've healed from a burn, and the skin that grows back is just so sensitive, more than another place on your hand. Like that is so how I feel about this Divine Masculine. So when your tender new skin first becomes exposed, you may feel uncomfortable. Love yourself and remain vulnerable anyway. You have been weak, but now you are becoming strong and developing wisdom, and you will do better in the future. Snake Spirit reminds you that hearts can be so easily wounded. Apologies and amends go a long way. Self-forgiveness for your role in what happened can help you heal. Remember, it is the one who has been wounded who often has the greatest power to help others heal. Wow. so meaningful for this reading. Holy moly. Okay. Divine Feminine. You got a reasonable amount of oracles today. You did not have overthinking. You did not have overfeeling. You're doing well. You are in the light attributes of the destroyer, releasing what is potentially destructive and preparing for new life. And isn't that exactly what we saw? There's that new life that you're preparing for, that big change that you're preparing for, and this releasing of the potentially destructive. So you're really doing a good job. Remember, that is uncomfortable energy. It's tower energy. And it's lava. You can't do anything to avoid it. It's coming. It's coming slow and steady. Your guardian angel is here with you to pray. And I'm always struck in this card by the image of these individuals praying together. So this is like, combine your voice with other light workers and pray for the outcome that you desire. Pray for that healing to happen, that forgiveness that is on divine masculine side, so that we can come into that physical union with the manifestation. If you can pray together somehow, if you can, some of you that are in some form of communication, there's all levels of communication between these manifestations. But if you can somehow pray together or do something together at the same time, there is a power when two or more are gathered in Spirit's name. I will reach for the best feeling thought I have access to. You should always be reaching for the best feeling relief that comes when you release a more resistant thought and replace it with a more allowing, better feeling thought. This is a basic concept we've gone over a million times here. And I guess it doesn't hurt to hear it again. But if you are feeling less than and you reach for a better feeling thought, you will feel better. And that is just such a simplistic thing to say. It's like, okay, yeah, well, how do I do that? It's difficult to get there from here. That's another concept from Abraham Hicks. So you don't try to be thinking like let's say you're worried about, like, I just dealt with a weird bureaucratic thing that made it seem like I hadn't paid my rent currently, but really it's because they didn't apply a deferral from back in March and April, and I got an eviction notice, and I was just like, what is happening? And I dealt with it, and I handled it yesterday, and I'm in good standing now, and I can pay my rent for February, and I'm good. While that process was happening, I came home from doing something. I assuming I don't even know what the hell I was doing that I would. Oh no, I know. I just not I came home. I went down and got my mail, and when I came back, I realized there was something on my door I hadn't seen when I went downstairs. And it was this eviction notice. And it was like, you have 15 days. And I didn't get it until like 5 days before, which my building is like, whatever. It's just not great. So I was like, okay, cool. And the past version of me would have taken that notice, called every single person I know, and been like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I did this and this happened and this. And I would have been really focused on, I could be evicted and whatever. And I wouldn't have even thought to myself in a calm way, like, I mean, can you just pay this? Because in the past, I would have been so much in a lack mentality. I would never have thought like, oh, I can put this money towards this and I'll be fine. Because I'll be like, no, I have to keep every penny I have because I don't know what's going to happen. Like, I have like this, I was like making my own problems. But this time when this happened, I was able to be pretty level-headed and be like, at first I was like trying to like sign the paperwork and be like, I don't know why I have to do this again. Like, I already did this and whatever. And then I thought to myself, wait, why am I even trying to get them to accept the deferral? Why don't I just pay the back rent? Like, I had been waiting for this check from the city to do that, which came, but my bank wouldn't accept it. And I had to because this is kind of scary, but like Wells Fargo, Chase, Bank of America, and a few other banks are not accepting checks that come from the city or the government, like stimulus checks or whatever, because they don't think they'll be paid. Cool. That's not terrifying at all. Don't go down that freaking, Jesus Christ. So I felt, so I had the check, which technically should have paid my back rent, but I have been managing my finances to the point now where I can pay my back rent without that check and still survive. Like, I mean, I need it, but I could be fine. I'll be fine. I can eat. I can do what I need to do. And I had not been in that position before. So when that happened and I got that, at first I went back to my old behavior, which was like, oh, I can't believe I have to do this again. Like, they better accept this. And then was just like, wait, I could just pay for it. And then there's nothing they can do. Oh, I'll just do that. But the past version of me would have been so stuck in the impossibility and the injustice and like, oh, they don't want me to live here. And what, I don't know, whatever my ego would have been going off. It would have been really hard for me to reach for the thought that was like, oh, I can just pay this, because I didn't have that kind of, back then I wasn't where I am now. So back then, how could I have helped myself, since I didn't have the comfort of being like, oh, I'll just pay this off, because that, then I would have been like, I have no idea. I have no money at all. I don't know what I'm going to do. And this is blah, 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 blah. The better feeling thought that I could have focused on during that time is like, oh, this is happening. It's really bad. But like, I'm sure like this will work out somehow. Or like, you know, it's like, I'll just sign this and I'll take it in. Like, it's going to be okay. Like, whatever. I couldn't think that I could pay it. That's too far away. But I could think that like, it's probably going to work out. And I might just be like, oh, it's probably going to be fine. And then when I started to be like, well, maybe it won't, I'd be like, but it might be. The more that you keep reaching for the like, this is probably temporary, or like, it's not, then you start to think about solutions. That's what happened in my current state, where I was like, it's probably going to be fine. I mean, I'll just fill this out. I'll take it. Oh, I can just pay it. Like, you attract the better feeling thought as you reach for even the slightest better feeling thought. So always be reaching for the better feeling thought. Wow, that was a long explanation. Okay. But it confirms this next card for me. Don't let your past hold you back. Don't let the past version of yourself that has a certain habit formed around the way things used to be, reacting to that. Don't let that happen. Sisterhood of the Rose, beauty, devotion, priestess, mystic. Okay, so there's priestess energy here, of course. But the other thing I'm drawn to is that you also got the card about pray, and there were two on the cards there together. So I do think this is about your sisterhood. For me, I'm about to have an Imbolc celebration with my coven, and we're going to drink coffee together and pull cards and do little rituals. So for me, that is resonating. But you might want to turn to your sisterhood at this time and just kind of enjoy that camaraderie and friendship and shared devotion. Be in that priestess energy, in that teacher energy, learning and teaching others. And then we're getting parrot spirit. Watch your words, the oracle message. What are you saying to yourself? What message are you repeating? Is it something that makes you feel good about yourself and reminds you of your strengths and potential? Parrots mimic the sounds around them. And when parrot spirit appears, it is time to be more mindful of your self-talk and its qualities. What do you say to others? Are you repeating what you truly believe? Remembering to speak with light and love can become a habit. Be generous with compliments and thanks, affirming all that is good so that your loving, healing words will be heard throughout the jungle, cutting through the noise and inspiring others. Listen for the words that remind you of all the strength, abundance, and joy in your life and in the world around you, and then repeat them, affirming what is real, true, and nurturing to the soul. The universe will reflect back to you the story you tell. Words matter, so choose ones that lift you up and inspire others to remember the beauty that surrounds us. So, watch your words, Divine Feminine. Watch yourself talk. Remember, if you want a Divine Masculine to approach you and say sweet things to you, you've got to have that energy towards yourself and towards others in your life so that you can have the energy mirrored back to you that you want to see. That's a spiritual concept, but if you need scientific backing for that, just go look at mirror neurons and look at how the studies about how we now understand empathic people as having overdeveloped mirror neurons. So when they see someone else's pain, they literally feel it, etc. In the spiritual community, we've known that as empath behavior, but now we have a scientific an appropriate scientific confirmation of what we all knew ahead of time, that people have empathy for one another based on a chemical process of the brain, which somehow justifies the existence of this thing that we've observed for centuries. You're welcome. Anyway, you mirror back to the people and they mirror back to you. Okay, visionary. This is the bottom of the deck for the couple as a union. You are both in the light attributes of visionary right now. You have a capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others, and you have a willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain. So you have this capacity to make these, to see what hasn't been seen, to envision doing things that haven't been done, and to proclaim those to others, even if they think you sound a little cuckoo. I prefer my friends to be a little cuckoo. Practice makes perfect. Keep this in mind, the two of you. You're at this, you're starting out in this new beginning. You're both in this full energy right now, and it's new. And what happens when you start something new? You have to practice it. You have to practice it every day. This isn't like this magic thing that you're like, oh, I learned everything from Tune and Tarot this morning, and now I'm never gonna have problems with that again. Like, no, you're gonna have to come back to these skills. It will be less painful. It will take less time. That's the miracle, actually, of ascending into a consciousness where you have a sense that you have an impact on your environment, and your environment impacts you, and you're mirroring things, and etc. As you start to learn this information, what happens is you don't have any less shitty things happen. I just told you about a super shitty thing that just happened to me, but you cycle through it very quickly. That shitty thing would have looked like, probably it would have been at least 2 weeks of headaches, and I would have had delays. There would have been even more problems. I would have had a lot of fear, would have had a lot of anxiety. Like, it would have just lasted, and it would have had ripple effects in my relationships and how I interacted with people, and put me into a needy state with others, and be like, oh, can you help me? Can you just give me some of this so that I can pay this right now? And like, just, it would have made me feel bad about myself, and it just bleh. That just didn't happen. It happened in the morning before I started a reading. I saw the paperwork, and I just taped, like, it was taped to my door, and I just like taped it on this side, on the interior of my door, and it was just hanging there. And then I went about my business. Then later I went back to it and was like, I'll deal with it tomorrow, because I'm not dealing with it today. It's a weekend. I can't do shit anyway. So I went back and looked at it on the next day and was like, oh, okay, this is dumb. It literally was an hour. I was like, what? Why? That's stupid. Well, it'll probably work out. I mean, whatever. I'll just fill this out and send it in. And like, Jesus, it's dumb. And like 1 hour of that kind of stuff, followed by, oh, I'll just pay it. All right. Ooh, cards are jumping on me. My emotions are vibrational interpreters. Your eyes, your ears, even your nose, tongue, and fingertips are translating vibrations, but your most sophisticated of vibrational interpreters are by far your emotions. By paying attention to the signals of your emotions, you can understand with absolute precision everything you are now living or have ever lived, and that is extraordinarily true. Your emotions are just a guide. They're like if you taste something bad, do you want to take out your tongue? No, you're like, thanks, tongue. I'm glad you noticed that tasted bad, because now I'm not going to eat it. It could kill me potentially, or I just am miserable when I consume this. Thank you, tongue, for being sensitive and feeling bad when you tasted that and it was not into you. Like, you were not into it. Sweet deal. Love you. Like, why don't we have that same feeling about our emotions? Because it's literally the same thing. Our emotion is like, and we're like, wow, you're such an asshole. You just go away. Like, stop. Be like, no, I don't want a relationship with you. I'm just going to ignore you. You're terrible. That would be like ignoring that you're eating bitter poison. Like, nope, I'm not. I don't care that you don't like it. I'm going to ignore that this tastes bad. No, you're not going to do that. And the same thing is true for your emotions. They're so sensitive. They tell you instantly. Probably before you even put that food up to your mouth that was not okay. probably your intuition triggered a little emotion, a little feeling of like discomfort before you even tasted it, because it was more sensitive. It knew, oh, that's not going to taste good. Your emotions are even more sensitive than your physical senses. And yet we push them away and we're like, fuck you, emotions. Like, imagine if your hand was burned from a painful stove that you were just like, well, I'm cutting it off because I hate the pain that I'm experiencing from it. Nothing is yet set in stone. This is always coming out for one or both of you. Ooh, I'm getting crown chakra pressure from that. That mutable moon energy of we're shifting, we're flowing. That's why there's daily readings. Break the chain. Ancestral patterns, healing, and rewriting the future. It is hard to do this, but you are doing this. Beaver Spirit is here, and this is lay a solid foundation. So this is a card that talks about, taking the twigs and branches of your intentions and co-creating, laying them down over time with the divine to build that foundation for yourselves. And so this is the state that this divine couple is in right now. This laying this solid foundation. We saw that with divine masculine, is really feeling that grounding energy. And then we've got the new beginning energy as well. All right. We are going to close with our goddess. This is for our goddess practice. You can balance divine feminine energy because we've been honoring the God energy for quite a while, and we want to balance out goddess energy no matter our gender. So you put two hands over your heart and you're saying, my heart is the heart of the goddess, for 15 minutes during a meditation some point today. And you can visualize any type of divine feminine energy that is applicable to you in your modality. And I just like to read different goddesses from different faiths and cultures, so that we can see how the divine feminine has been a constant part of the fabric of humanity since the beginning of time. And it is kind of strange that we now have major religious movements that completely reject the feminine. It's a little problematic, as we can see in terms of polarity and balance. So here's Ishtar. Ishtar is the multi-layered Babylonian creator goddess, the source of all life and embodiment of the power of nature. She is the giver of plenty, a lawgiver, a judge, the goddess of time, as well as the goddess of both love and war. Her name means giver of light and derives from her role as queen of heaven. She is the planet Venus as both morning and evening star, and her girdle is the zodiacal belt. Ishtar descends to the underworld and restores the vegetation god Tammuz to life, and thus restores fertility to the earth. As she descends, she removes a veil at each gate. While she is underground, all life on earth is depressed and nothing comes to life. Ishtar is a multifaceted, powerful symbol of a forthright mode of being that is unafraid to venture into the depths of the underworld. She represents the creative feminine, active and strong. So there is your goddess energy to close out the reading. This was a beautiful reading and astonishing that we had that 10 of swords. I've just never seen that, and I've been reading since May. In general, like for this account, obviously for years and years, but I think using 4 decks I've been doing since, I guess, the summer. So yeah, this is the first time in 6 months I've ever seen that happen. So I'm like shocked by that. I knew it could happen at some point. I would always be like, whenever I would get 3, I'd be like, is the 4th one gonna be? And then I'd be like, oh no, it didn't come up. So wow, shocking. All right, take care, everyone. I'm excited for those of us that are coming into physical union, and the end of separation is here for us. For all of us, the end of separation is here, though, whether you have physical union or not. The idea of separation inside of self, there is an ending here to those of us in the collective that have been tuning into these readings every day. We, as individuals, have come to the point where we are accepting that there is no separation between the sides of ourselves, that we are actually in union, that we are actually connected to that source energy. And that is the truth of the reading. Whether this results in a physical person in your life or the job that you want or the thing that you want. That, remember, is that material fixation, which is impermanent. The material is impermanent, but the connection is eternal. And so that is really what we're learning when we have 4 decks give us the same card. We are in union. We are not separated, right? Thank you so much, everyone. Take care. Have a lovely day. Good to see you, Emily. I will see you soon. Happy Imbolc for those that are celebrating today. Have the best day.